Hi everyone, welcome to Social Impact Speech Workshop. Today we're in lesson 9, is our last lesson, makes me sad, and we will talk about a very important thing, expectations from the perspective of the judges. So what do judges expect from your speech and how they're going to grade, how they're going to give you the scores. So the criteria. So why it is important to understand the judging criteria. When you know what the judges are looking for, you can prepare strategically and make sure your speech is impactful. And a great speech is not just about speaking English well, it's about delivering a message that inspires, informs, and remember that our ultimate goal here is to create a social impact. So if we know how the judges are going to give you scores on which criteria, we can prepare better and we can make a stronger impact. So there are 4 judging categories. First one is content and impact. What is your speech about? What impact are you trying to make? And structure and organization. Is your speech well organized? Is it reasonable? Delivery and presentation. Can the audience understand you? Is it interesting to listen to you? And finally, we have Q&A section. Can you answer the questions about your speech? Means, do you understand? What are you talking about? And here I have a diagram illustrating the 4 categories. And maybe you can notice that the content and impact are the biggest, like the yellow part here. It's 40%. It's very, very important that your content and the impact that you're trying to make are clear. They're not just like general ideas, but more like you sharing your personal experience. We'll talk more about this in detail. Then the second biggest one is the delivery and presentation part. So second important one is how you're delivering. How like do you use, is your eye contact good? Do you use gestures? Is it easy to understand your speech? And then structure and organization is 10%. So like, is your speech well organized? Remember, we talked about the introduction, the body, and conclusion. And I think if you follow the course, the previous course about that, then you will be okay here. And we have 20% for Q&A. And this one is maybe very difficult to prepare, but still, like today we'll talk about how we can prepare for the Q&A section as well. So the heart of your speech, content and impact. So first of all, we think about relevance to social impact. Like, is your speech really relevant to the impact? So judges look for, like, does your speech directly address a social issue? Does it explain why the issue is important and how it affects people? So basically, after you're done with your speech, ask yourself a question. Is it meaningful? Why is it meaningful? That's very important. And second point is depth of message and originality. Like, are your ideas unique, well-researched, insightful? Do you go beyond basic information and provide real-world examples, personal experiences? So again, after you're done with your speech, check yourself. You're just stating facts, or are you sharing a personal story? You're creating a connection. Third one is clear call to action and quality of solution. So of course, there are so many difficult problems and it's impossible to provide solutions for many of them. Like even famous politicians don't have the solutions. However, call for action or some kind of suggestion of a solution is important. So do you have like it's easy to criticize, like, oh, we are not recycling, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. But are you offering a practical solution to the issue? Did you include a clear call for action? Is your speech practical? So again, ask yourself a question. What actions does your speech inspire? So after listening to your speech, what do I want to do as your audience? And the fourth part is effectiveness, inspiration, and emotion. So here we have a crying girl. And of course, I'm not saying that your speech has to make people cry, but if it can, it will be also very kind of like, it will create a connection. It will create an emotional response. So does your speech evoke some kind of emotion? Of course, it can be a positive emotion as well. You can make people laugh. You can make people cry. You can make people feel scared. That's all fine. But at least you're making people feel something. And that is the key. So does it engage and inspire the audience? So again, check yourself. Are you connecting with the audience emotionally? And moving on to the small but also very important part of the speech is structure and organization. How well are your materials like laid on each other? How do they connect with each other? How are they organized? So a strong introduction, remember our hook, like grabbing the attention of the audience, a logical body that develops your argument clearly, a conclusion that reinforces key points and leaves a lasting impression. And again, call for action can be in the end, in the conclusion as well. And here, like for the organization part, think about transitions. Are you smoothly moving from one point to another, or are you jumping around? So make sure that the connections are clear and the transitions are clear between your ideas. And next point is the delivery. Next criteria is the delivery and presentation. How do you present your speech? First is the basic English pronunciation, intonation, fluency. So judges look for clear pronunciation so the audience understands what you're saying. Natural intonation. So sometimes people will ask a question, but like their intonation is flat. What do you think about this? Yeah, what do you think about this? So remember, when we ask a question, the intonation goes up. When we make a list, again, like up, 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 down. Yeah, so maybe you can review our unit on pronunciation and intonation and fluency. Fluency is your speech well-paced? Is it smooth, natural delivery without too many pauses or hesitations? So, or not too rushed. Yeah. So try to exaggerate your intonation during practice to make sure that it feels natural on the stage. And the second point of the delivery part is, remember we talked about eye contact, gestures, body language. Eye contact connects with the audience, and make sure that you are connecting with the audience and not just reading your notes. Natural gestures that emphasize key points, no stiff hands or overreacting. That's not good. Just add, like, remember we talked about numbers, like first point, second point, like number gestures or big, small, these kind of basic gestures that you can add to make your speech more active. And open, confident posture. Remember, stand strongly, confidently, and no fidgeting. Yeah. Okay. So to check this, record yourself, as we talked in the previous units. Record yourself and check your body language carefully, and make sure you're checking that you're engaging or you're stiff. So don't be too stiff. And the third point about delivering presentation is voice clarity. Are you clear? and tone and pacing. So loud enough voice to reach everyone in the room. Clear, engaging tone. Good pacing, not too fast, not too slow. Remember the hare and the rabbit and the tortoise tail. So practice pausing after key points to give the audience time to absorb your words. So focus on, like, try to pause on the words where you want to focus, and don't make your speech too fast. Because especially when we're nervous, we tend to say like blah, 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 and then it's done. Oh, I'm finished. But did the audience really understand you? That's an important point to keep in mind. So another very important but hard part is the Q&A. And this Q&A requires you to think on your feet. What does it mean to think on your feet? Like, you have to respond immediately. Like, you don't have time to sit down and think. You have to be like very quickly. However, you can practice for that as well. So what judges look for: quality of your answer, so direct answers that clearly address the question, and logical reasoning and depth of understanding. So don't just say, yes, I think so. No, I don't think so. Like, yes, I think so because. No, I don't think so. Or no, I disagree with you because ABC. So give a deep answer, not just a short answer. Now, if you don't know the answer, stay calm. That's the first thing. Take a breath. Yeah. And try to connect to some words that you understand and try to answer. Or if you completely don't understand, like you have no idea what the judge asked you, don't feel shy to ask for clarity. So if you, excuse me, I couldn't catch that. You can, that's not a minus. Like if you just stand there frozen, that's a minus. That's a minus point. But if you ask for clarification, so what do you mean by this? Then the judge can repeat their question and maybe you have a chance to answer in it. So if you don't understand the question, don't hesitate to ask for clarifications. Okay? And delivering Q&A is also important. So we have opportunity to practice delivery of the speech. However, delivery in Q&A, we don't have opportunity to practice, but you can use what you learned for the speech in the speech practice and apply that for the Q&A. So clear English, fluency, and confidence. So even if you think maybe your answer is wrong, don't worry about it. Answer it. It's your opinion. There is no right or wrong, especially in case of ideas. So just say what's on your mind and don't hesitate to express yourself. So be confident. And always remember to take a breath before answering. So this gives you time to think, and it also will kind of add like balance to your posture and maybe bring some ideas to your mind. And always remember to keep a positive attitude. Like attitude is a very big part of Q&A, and like not just for this speech contest, but for many tests and interviews. Like if you're proactive, if you show positive attitude, the judges are more likely to give you a higher score because they can see that you care and that you want to express your ideas. So positive attitude is very, very important. And if you're nervous, remember, breath, confident posture, and attitude. So I think that will kind of help you and to get through Q&A. So the key takeaway today is that the judges evaluate 4 key areas: content and impact, strong message, originality, emotional connection. Second point, structure and organization, clear flow, logical transitions. Third point, delivery and presentation, voice, body language, confidence. And the fourth point is Q&A. Fourth criteria is Q&A. So quality of your answers, ability to think of your feet, and again, confidence in delivery. So for the work task, actually I have workbook tasks. I have 2 tasks for you to try today. It's our last lesson, so I'm kind of making you work a lot, but I'm sure it's going to help you. So first thing I think it's very important to do is prepare for Q&A. So read your speech again and think of all the possible questions that the judges might ask you. Also, ask your friends and family members, like, what would you ask? What would be the question that comes to mind when you listen to the speech? When you hear the speech, what do you want to ask? And then write down all these questions in your workbook. And again, write down all the answers that you can imagine to those questions. So, and final step is practice answering those questions. So I think if you practice real Q, like if you practice Q&A at home, like with your family members or with your friends, then it will definitely give you confidence when you're doing it in during the speech contest. And the second point is maybe try to reflect on your speech. So in your workbook, like go through everything, like everything that you've written so far, and think about one strengths that you have in speech delivery. What's your very strong, like what's your good point? What's your strong point? And the second, where do you need to improve? So reflect on all the lessons we did so far and think of your strong points and improvement points. And that's it. So congratulations, you have successfully completed Social Impact Speech Workshop. I'm very proud of you, and it's time to shine on the stage. I wish you best of luck, and I hope to see you again. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Good luck.